Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Where's my cell phone? Oh my goodness. Yeah. This is the Kal Kat Show, New Year's Eve special. Live from Milpitas, California. The most unwatched YouTube video show ever. The Kal Kat New Year's Eve special. Why do they keep doing these? No one knows. Now, using footage from elsewhere that isn't really there, a Times Square that's practically vacant. It's the Kal Kat Show. Hello, Kal Kat Show. Oh my god. It's horrible. It's the pandemic. It's the end of the world and the zombies are out. Well, Or that silly Kelly admitted he was Jane Piedmont. Same time MC Kim's Kal Kat. Yeah. But yeah, here we are. Looking at a TV screen for the minutes and a reporter, I think this is NBC. And we don't care what he's saying, because who cares what he's saying? This is the Kal Katster, and we are live. We are live. Yes. One of these days we'll have to cover that from Times Square. At the moment, yeah. In Cali, the dumpster fire of 2020. They should have big banners that say "Trump, you're fired," end of President Trump. Legacy, ridiculous one-shot brain. They were saying, no, it was the only one that ever got one term. Jimmy Carter got one term. Bush the Elder got one term. This happened before. He had one term. Yeah. So, and here we have a lady singing a breakup song. Yes, "We Will Survive" is a breakup song. Yeah. That's actually kind of funny then. She's being ironic. Oh, here we have. Yeah, so we have killed the audio so that we can't hear the breakup song. She's being ironic, so it's fine. So we're probably just minutes away from them dropping the ball, which they always should drop a ball. If you're going to drop one, drop it. Yeah, so, and I've only seen, in the past 4 days, I've only seen Wonder Woman 84 and did a review, and I was reminded of the Birds of Prey movie from earlier in the year, but that movie was not best of, so it wouldn't have been on there anyway. It looks like there's other action going on. A lot of TV screens in New York, along with it looks like a TV studio thing there. So yeah, singer lady kills the audio, so we can't hear her singing the breakup song. Yeah, the whole thing is kind of pointless at this point. There's no we're here in the studio. Yeah. Back in the day, in the 90s, it used to be a little more, it was a more radio. In the 80s and 90s, we did it on the radio. And the failed child star was radio only. Then when we did videos, they were usually kind of bad. If you know what we were doing, we figured, we could just do comedy, the way SNL does it. No, we didn't know what we were doing. Which, to be fair, high schoolers probably don't know what they're doing, by and large, with that kind of thing. We can get some Wow, it's a remarkably vacant New York street. That's funny. The lady's singing, but haven't they already... Did they drop the ball or not? She's still going. So what's going on here? It is live, so... yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. So we were just rambling on, waiting for a ball to drop. Maybe it won't drop. Maybe it's hilarious that they have pictures of like cops wearing the mask. Like, put on a mask. I want to make everybody feel better. You know, wear your mask when I'm indoors and there's no one in the room. Here you go. Oh, Mom, now, Batman, it's time for me to be Bane. Yeah. Now, Batman, I will hurt you. I will break you. Yes. Yes. Morgan Freeman and Samuel L. Jackson. Samuel L. Jackson. Morgan Freeman. Yeah. Morgan Freeman sounds a bit like a southern country gentleman, you see. Yeah. That was wallowing in that long, long line of poop. But yes, Morgan Freeman reads 50 Shades of Grey. No, that was a couple of years ago. It was a guy imitating him. It wasn't even him. Do we have anything going on the street there in New York? Nothing just yet. It's odd. Yeah. Houdini's over there somewhere. Aber and Cadabra are upstairs. The cats started out that. Looks like they're going to do the ball drop. Let's get to that. Or are they going to cut to the ball drop? Or not? Okay. Okay, wait a second. Are you actually using footage from NBC here? Are they going to do it, or do they just keep cutting back to them, those people? There's the ball. Yes, there are 28 seconds to go. Here goes the ball drop in New York City. The ball drop. We have to film that. 10, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Little tiny 2021 at the top of the ball there. There it was. That was kind of sad, but there it is. 2021. It's a tiny little 20 way the hell up there, and it's gone. That was it. That was kind of sad. It wasn't like 2012, you know. There we go. There's a close-up of it. 2021. It's the roaring 20s. Well, maybe next year. Well, now in 2021, it'll be more roaring. The Transformers thing is not done yet. We're still putting it together. But I did release the Earthrise review. I did watch that today, Earthrise. So you can watch that momentarily on YouTube if you want. Here in 2021. I did watch all of Earthrise today. While rendering, I put the rendering pieces together, and then as I rendered them, I'd start a new episode. But yeah, it's not ready. Tomorrow, late tomorrow, it'll probably be done. So yeah. So the next episode of Trends Tech will be tomorrow. And yeah, 2021. Yay! New Year's. Yay! It's a full moon. Yay! Nobody even kissing. Well, obviously not. But yeah, they're like, we're social distance hugging here in the street. There's one of the cast waving. Yeah, so they got to go, but yeah, we're not there. But yeah, there's somebody next to another cast person, and there, yeah, so we're not there. But look at how trippy, like, New York is. There's the fillets briefly. Not really, but yeah. But yes, and here are other people that I don't know who they. Yes, so NBC is yeah, doing the thing, and we are at the New Year's Comedy Sketch doing these things since, geez, at least 25, 30 years. New Year's Comedy Special 89, 90 was actually the big one. That was a high school graduation one. 89, yeah, the year 89, 88, 89 was when I graduated high school, 89. So, yeah, it wasn't the year before that. Yeah. But that big one was the year after when it was all evergreen. 89, 90. So here we have 2021. Holy shit. Well, maybe the dumpster fire is at last over. At least everyone is wearing their proper masks and attire, and no one and there's like a third of the revelers, if a tenth of them really, probably local ones, and yeah, 2021. There we are. Okay, now, and a car commercial. Of course, there's a car commercial. Why wouldn't there be? So we are at the rail station KATS, Milpitas, San Jose, in California. Happy New Year. Kia. Happy New Year. As a car commercial overlaid over Happy New Year. They brought out the Happy New Year sign, and it's flashing around on this very large screen, but yeah, they filmed too much of their footage. There is footage for getting from MSNBC, but it's done in such a way as to be spoofy, so it's fine. Clearly, we're gonna give them credit. It's not gonna get paid anyway. Yeah, this isn't gonna get AdSense. New Year's Comedy Sketch never AdSense. This would go on the other channel anyway. Let's go on the other one. Yeah, this would go on Location Cat, and so. Yeah, glittery balls. Just said that there was a F.A.O. Schwartz Toys R Us store downtown New York that was visited by at least one nephew and one niece when I was there. It was either or. I didn't get to go to it. It was gone by then. I didn't get to go to it. But I did get to go to the Mall of America version of the F.A.O. Schwartz Toys R Us toy store / toy store. And actually, the Primal Prime is from that F.A.O. Schwartz toy store. The Primal Prime from the movie. It's from that. They had one, and I bought him. Bought him all the way back from Minnesota. Back in... it was the first time in the Mall of America, I think. It was like 98. It was the F.A.O. Schwartz toy store. That would have been 2005. Yeah, somewhere around there. Or a little before that, because they still stocked some Beast Wars stuff in the back. It was either the 2000, maybe it was the 2001 one though. It was probably 2001. Yeah, they had stuff. That's when that merger happened. What, 2001, 2002. Somewhere around there. We don't go there very often. 2001, 2006, 2011, and it was a wedding. There hasn't been any trip back there since. It's been 10 years. I don't think so. No. 2021. Okay, we can turn off this NBC thing. People on the Today Show and Netflix, Transformers, Cybertron, Earthrise. Pretty sure that I reviewed that back in July as well, so I should be able to look that up. I don't need to though. I'm gonna immediately log this off now that it's rendered in public. Switch account. Actually sign out, and we're gonna go live to On Location Cat channel, the other one, and we're gonna go there. How much? Yeah, and I'm not cutting any of this. It's live. Oh, okay, I'm on the other channel. Okay, so this is the New Year's comedy thing, and it isn't much of a comedy thing. We're going on for now 15 minutes. Yeah, this year was the year of the COVID-19 pandemic, which started around February, and all played down by the government. Well, mainly the GOP. There was one stimulus in July to help the economy, which is completely decimated. They tried another one this month, just past month. It's in flux, and McConnell and Graham don't want to give any money out to anybody because they're greedy, rich assholes. So everybody's trying to take credit for what other people have done. It's a pork barrel thing. They're not going to do anything. But that would be more of a talking pointless thing. But we're not going to go there. Everybody else already has. Trump lost, and now Biden will be president. And Trump refuses to leave. Yeah. So he's the president. Yeah. So and in the news of the channel over here, there haven't been any. Well, there's been unofficial Zoom kids blog, kids club, and church stuff. Unofficial stuff. Sort of because you can't meet anywhere. The pandemic's closed everything. Everybody's either quarantined or in some sort of the heater's kidding, and some other thing. We're in the middle of this. They keep closing and opening things. Haven't seen Mark's cards in person in months, almost a year. Yeah, and it's been all Thursday or Wednesday night, just regular calls to the production company. So there is something going on, but yeah, we're all so we were in the lockdown. They were calling it a lockdown. During the March and April, I made a COVID movie covering the first 8 weeks of it. But then lost interest and didn't want to cover it anymore. And it's around the same time I started on the All Transformers Mush thing, and we've been doing that, and we're still doing it, and we're in episode 3 of season 2 at this point. Season 2 began in November, and so we're doing season 2 right after season 1. We just started right into season 2 because what else are we gonna do? We're in lockdown. The show literally ran out of money to do more of them on Christmas Day, but the film is our stuff and it's all our products. So yeah, there's no ad revenue, so it keeps going. It can still go. We can do the remaining 4 episodes. The film, we don't need to buy any film. Like basically, we don't need to buy any more SD cards until we get more. The thing frequently goes under because there's no one paying for the studio and show and whatever. In case you were wondering whether they make any money doing the YouTube videos, no, we totally don't. It is weird though that Star Trek Discovery and Lower Decks and the Netflix show too are on so much the same wavelength as if we were writing for them, but obviously we're not. So yeah. Yeah, so it's so there any interesting YouTube videos and things, recap stuff. There haven't been many movies really. Mark's Cards and I did discuss Color Out of Space last night and some other things. Yeah, we both were kind of confused as to what was going on. I said Annihilation is a better movie, so if he gets around to seeing that, it's kind of the same idea. alien thing takes over a lighthouse in a town and some scientists. But it's cooler in that one because it's better in that one. They did it better than in Color Out of Space. It's the same source. It's a Lovecraft story, so they're both a Lovecraft story. So that's why they're similar. But even though Lovecraft himself, separating the author from the person is Lovecraft was racist, but the stories, if you take that element out, and you just make it a story that's weird, then it's fine. Can you do that? I mean, Lindsay Ellis of the internet would say, no, you can't separate that from the author, especially not in that case, or in the case of J.K. Rowling's transphobic stuff. We learned all kinds of new words and phrases this year, like woke, and SJW was last year, but woke. SJW was actually a little further back, 2018. There are other words of other phrases that were used incorrectly. 2018 was Snowflake. We also have we don't call them trannies, trans. Do have words like gender fluid. We have words like what's this other word? It was for someone who is not gender fluid, but a person who is non-binary. Yes, non-binary, even though technically, physiologically, is binary. They're not a hermaphrodite. They're yeah. Anyway, in their mind, sure. A lot of the Transformers are like that. Just because they're Transformers, they're robots. They don't have gender really, so they are by their nature non-binary. So I addressed that in the trans text. But none of the direct characters in the cast are anything like that. But it's okay if some people are out there. That's fine. All inclusive on the Kal Kat show. We don't kick anybody out for being different, because why would we do that? The whole internet, the SJW thing died down after the supposed release of a Marvel comic book called The New Warriors. That was going to be like really, really obviously like a spoofy thing. And it wasn't. It was a spoof, and it didn't come out. It was like a overweight superhero, and a safe space superhero, and a snowflake superhero. We kind of already have that though, because you've already got like other ones that do that, ice powers or whatever, and saving people powers and stuff. You already have that. And Wonder Woman 1984 just came out and kind of made fun of it indirectly in the Transformer thing. It's because we had to. But it was part of the plot of the story. So the reason they go out to the Beast Planet in the first place was that they were disgusted at the movies with space. So yes, we learned that's what it was. That's what started them. So the Beasties story, the 3-part Beasties Transtech story, actually starts immediately after New Year's Day, and then goes on to about halfway through the year in 2021. That's when it is. So they're now leaving to go to the Beast Planet. So, not a lot of movies to review. Not a lot of other things. It's not really going to be all that big a New Year's special. It's not even special, really. There's been some funny stuff. I've watched most of the Library of Grace Still Plays, doing a Sims 4 thing. It's pretty funny. All of the Google Translate lady who does the translated songs where she makes them really, really awful and silly. I've done all those. Discovered this year that the infamous Shadowcast 7 was another cat. She quit YouTube because people were. She was the Lord of the Rings lady that was going on about Lord of the Rings song, the full poem, Lord of the Rings song with the guitar. She quit because people were harassing her about her liking Trump, I guess. Or maybe not. It's hard to tell. But there was this other website that like says like this is her and she did this and she doesn't like the bots and the trolls. I guess she needed. I wouldn't have left just because of the trolls. I'm not leaving because of no trolls. It's like no, just block them. See, unlike harassing bully jerk offs in the schoolyard or something, or in a workplace or something, on YouTube, you have anonymity and you have the power to block them. They can't come back. You block them. Don't shadow ban them. That's when you go there and you say, I don't like what this guy said, and you block them. Don't do that. But you can block them from your channel. And she should have. She should just stay on YouTube and block them because they're jerks. They're jealous of her stuff. And, you know. Also, somebody went after the Lindsay Ellis channel, an actual author who wrote a werewolf fiction thing, and that was messed up because like the werewolf fiction lady thought that she had the copyright on werewolf fiction. Yeah, no, you don't. Okay, werewolf fiction has been around since werewolf fiction has been around. It's one of the oldest monster cliches in the universe. The werewolf. The Dracula, the Frankenstein, all that stuff is ancient. It's like long time ago, 1800s and shit. Or earlier even. But popularized in the 1800s. Some of the Victorian era stuff like Frankenstein and stuff like that. The Frankenstein, the werewolf, the mummy, all that was. Movies popularized it later, but really it's in the last century. But really, it goes back to at least the 1800s, if not further back. So no, nobody has a moratorium on werewolf fanfic, or fanfic for that matter. I also have been watching lots of Decker's Shadow. Guy went him and his buddy Creepy and their little the Cthulhu monster. They went to also Brandon Tinault reviews, who reminds me of somebody from the Jung Swan here. He is somebody from the Jung Swan. Yes. But yes, he moved to Canada. So he is somebody from there. He's all I was there. Like, oh wow, cool. It's funny that he has nothing to say other than that. Yeah, he went there. So we have this guy who kind of looks like somebody from that era too, but he's like Weird Al crossed with that Stanish guy. It's not, but it looks like. And Mark's Cars went to Japan in 2019, but this is 2020, and now it's 2021. So we have. No, this is a review thing. There aren't going to be any sketches. It's just me. At least the lighting is a little better. And yeah, I've been watching a lot of this guy too today. I found out, and Simon Whistler stuff. Was one of the people that confirmed that Pulp Fiction is full of it when it said something about a Royale with cheese. Mark Krause and I were discussing that as well. Tarantino apparently read that somewhere in the early internet in 1993-94 and thought it was true and never thought to ask anybody. But Simon Whistler is from England, and he was asked that at one point, and he said, absolutely not, that's ridiculous. It's like, but yeah, I already knew because relatives from England went there a long time ago, like 20 years ago, and some nieces and nephews are half British, so they went there, and they were like, yeah, no, it's not called that there, it's just a quarter pounder. But they think it's a quarter because it's a cheap hamburger. But no, they don't call it anything different. Even Burger King is Burger King and the Whopper. Even Burger King. So it's not changed at all by being in Europe. It's not a Royale with cheese. Never was. Nothing is royale with cheese in hamburgers. That must mean nothing is. Like, there is nothing called that. You got the impression from the story, though, Pulp Fiction story, that the two mobster guys in the story were bullshitters, so they were making stuff up. So you got that impression that they were just like, I'm so smart. I know what a royale with cheese in England because it's a metric system. It's like, no, you just... As Simon Whistler pointed out, because somebody asked him on his blog, he's all like, okay, just because you can't do math doesn't mean it makes sense. Allegedly. Yes. Allegedly. So here we have, I am not going to go on. I don't think this is going to be an hour. Yeah. 2021 is here. It's not the COVID, it's dry in here. Anyway. So, so, it's going to be like the 95 one. Yeah. We used to do audio tapes. Radio audio tapes. Put them on the audio tape, send it around to friends. Yeah. Wasn't broadcast, it was audio tape. We broadcast it out of the house, but it wouldn't, passing around audio tapes with our stuff. Can't release any of it because we constantly would play music from the radio in it. It would probably get flagged, even though it'd be really, really cheesy. It would be so garbled. It would no longer sound like a song from the 80s. It would sound like somebody had been high and was trying to sing the song from the 80s. Even though we're not high. I'm thinking a little, no, nobody's high. Pity. I would never run for office. But if I did, it would be like weirdly like fiscally conservative, but socially progressive and feminist, actual real feminist. Like, okay, equal rights, and I'd be like, okay, emancipation too. Yeah, pay them back. Pay back the descendants of everybody that was descendants of everybody screwed over us during the antebellum. So, yeah, that would be impressive. The descendants of them. I mean, that to figure out who the descendants were. Give them a little something. Reparations. Also, defund only bad police. There was a defund the police thing. Only the bad ones, the bad apples that have been written up on a report, they're out. Now, I would never run for office because I wouldn't win on that. Also, it would be like the gerrymandering. I would say no more gerrymandering. Okay, it's when you have two politicians that have like a county, and they both control part of the county, and they can pick where the districts are drawn. So they can draw make it look like a Rorschach ink blot thing to put only their voters everywhere, and it's really unfair to larger communities where a lot of the big cities are mostly liberal and progressive, and a lot of the smaller areas, rural areas, are not as progressive, conservative. California and Texas are actually purple, not blue, but you wouldn't know that from looking at the gerrymandering. So what I would say is, no more gerrymandering. It's done. It's gone. By county, where the politician lives. That would completely change the dynamic, because then the county where all the haughty-taughty ones are, that would be where they can go, and that's it. It would even the playing field. It would be able to say, like, okay, well, these rural areas where there's nothing out there, they aren't going to get as they aren't going to get the same votes in the same way. That'll work. The richest 25% need to pay their fair share of taxes. Not more taxes, their fair share of taxes. 25%. And they got to pay that fair share of taxes directly into the poorest American citizens. There you go. And no more ridiculous pork barrel spending on dumb shit. Like $3,000 like phone equipment or something. Or a pencil that costs $100. Stupid stuff. No extra yachts for the super rich. Nope. Regulate the heck out of industry, the companies that are doing bad things, because they shouldn't be doing bad things, and make it so that nobody gets away with shit. But yes, definitely handouts for the and as the hilarious comedian Sarah Silverman pointed out, the DNA of capitalism is socialism. I mean, it is, because, like, the firemen, that's socialist program. Social security, socialist program. Healthcare, socialist program. You can't get rid of the fire department, the police, socialist program. Oh, well, I guess you have. It's in the DNA then. Well, all right then. So the caveat: universal health care and universal education for citizens. That would never get elected. All those other people would go like, no, you can't do that. Us rich guys wouldn't have any money that way. Well, you still would have money. You just wouldn't be able to buy an extra Learjet and an extra yacht or a golden toilet. You just had no golden toilet that year. And now a bunch of poor people in a poorhouse would suddenly get a lot of money. And social mental health programs for the mentally infirm, because that current Republican GOP people desperately need to go to the mental health professionals, especially the ones that are seditionists and anti-patriots and want to break up the country because they're upset that their guy didn't win. They can leave. We don't need any people in the country that want to secede. They can go somewhere else, and we will give them the boat for them to go somewhere else on. Here, take the boat. Go somewhere else. If you want to succeed, you're out. Go somewhere else. You traitor. Goodbye. Bye. Go somewhere else. Same thing with those trolls. Back to the trolls. Yeah, so I noticed there's some trolls out there from my channels back in the day that were like, on YouTube. We were like, we want to publish this nasty thing about it. I didn't understand this movie. And there's a stupid, dumb head. Stupid, dumb. It's like, dude, I'm not printing your shit. If you want to rant about something, go rant about it somewhere else. I'm not printing it. I'm just not going to go there. I'm just going to, print on them. If you're going to make an intelligent argument about whether you disliked a movie, that's your opinion anyway. It's not a fact. It's an opinion. All of YouTube is an opinion. There's hardly any news on there. The weird thing is that the alt-right seems to think that they have... The alt-right seems to think that Facebook is all liberal. It is not. Facebook is alt-right. The alt-right have taken it over, and now it's freaking annoying and I don't want to go there. They've taken it over. They're there all the time. And then Twitter only fact checks they're pretty darn conservative too, like Twitter. But yeah, the Marx Cards was concerned that after Fox goes away, and it won't go away, it's worth $2 billion, that One American Network and Newsmax will take over, and they'll be even more annoying and superpowered. Well, they won't. Because I looked into these two other companies, and it turns out that I believe One American Network is worth well, first of all, Newsmax is privately owned, so it's worth 11 million, and I think the other One American Network, is worth 20 million. That might sound like a lot, but when you consider that Fox News Corp is worth 2 billion, that's a lot more. Yeah. So, yeah. And NBC is worth like $1.5 billion, and CNN is worth $1 billion. Yeah, so CNN's worth about it's about the same of revenue. So that's the revenue they bring in, and yeah, so their ad revenue and their worth and the Newsmax is actually not public; it's private. So the numbers could be skewed, just like the numbers at Grandmaster's company, Lighthouse, could be completely skewed because it's a private company. It's not public. So who knows what their numbers are. And then there's this weird QAnon people that think there's conspiracies. Yeah. So anyway, they're weird. They could go somewhere else too. The QAnon people. Yeah. So, or they could. I don't know. I'm not in charge of anything. I wouldn't run for anything or office or anything. So 34. I guess I'm gonna end the New Year's comedy special thing. It's mostly a rant about politics. It's not very interesting. So understand there's a lot of movies coming out through the show slates. Don't bother with HBO unless you want to. HBO Max is it's annoying after you try to quit it. 'Cause I quit it, but it keeps it kept the HBO Max the Wonder Woman movie. Watched it for 3 hours and then quit. It's not related to the other Max though. And there is just yeah. Oh, what's that? So yeah, this is not much of a thing. It isn't much of a thing. So in the end, yeah, this is a short one because there's. I'm not going to ramble on for another half an hour about nothing. What's the point? So we're now in 2021, and here we are, and yeah. Also, you might want to check out TK Rebirth and some other stuff. Also, shout out to MGO, the freaking geek. MGO 316 Transformers reviews. Shout out to yeah, let's BMG Drive. That's that other guy. I was watching Needs Gaming a lot back in the day too. Let's see. We have they're funny. Let's see. Anybody else you wanna? Some of these auto restoration things. I was watching some Jay Leno's Garage and some of the other guys assembling stuff. Doug Moore's Doug Reviews, car reviews. Doug Moore's car reviews. You know, Star Trek, Trek Yards, of course. You have to shout out to Trek Yards. We appeared in a couple of live blogs on Trek Yards, which was in the live blog, in the chat. Yeah. Not on it. They haven't appeared on it, but just in the chat. And got to ask directly about the SDF-1. To have Calkins respond, well, actually, we were thinking of doing that one, which still just confused us. Yes. So they are going to get around to the SDF-1 eventually. But, yeah, the canon's kind of weird on how big that ship is. So, but they could just kind of guess, just do a fun thing with it. They're not as familiar with Robotech as the other stuff, so yeah. But they saw mine. They watched it. My review. And, yeah. Yeah. So yeah. What else do we have here? Oh, Star Trek, Neil deGrasse Tyson. Apparently, this new game, Cyberpunk 2077, is awful. Not any worse than early GTA 5 back in the day. They could fix it. No Man's Sky never gotten any better, though. A couple of years ago, that never got any better. Some of the GTA 5 mods are pretty hilarious. They have some good ones in there. Especially when they get like a super powered guy ripping people apart in HOA. They gotta fix the NPCs and the building destruction and the car destruction so it matches, so it's realism, so they can actually like tear apart the buildings around them and drive through them and stuff like that. But I guess that's too difficult to put together. Also, we have in the story, it's a video game. But yeah, let's see. Isaac Arthur sci-fi thing. What's the other guy? The Event Horizon with John Michael Gaudier. Yes. He's French. Gaudier. Yes. Stuff like that. Anyway, so there's lots of stuff on YouTube to watch that doesn't have trolls. But really, they should come back. Also, Devtastic should come back. Devtastic should watch the Nth Run movies. He probably does. They're right up his alley. I haven't had any word from him in a while. I don't know. He's gone, I think. But, yeah. And the channel Awesome Stuff all blew over, so they're still cool as long as other bad guys left. But there's a lot less of that, the way it's, you can tell on the website that they've changed things. And it's not the same, it's some of the same people, but they got rid of the producer guy. And so it's not a big deal. Yeah, so we're not associated really, except for the couple of those back then. Yeah, and nobody's doing anything new with that. Today, what was that? There was another one that was like a gaming channel thing. Oh, and there's the hyper progressive Young Turks. Yeah, the hyper progressive Young Turks and Damage Reports. Also hyper progressive. Yeah, we know they're extremely left wing, but they totally are. Yeah. Yeah, but Brandon Tennant's cult movies is funny. We had a couple of suggestions that he went and watched, which was cool. Yeah, that was great. He watched Virus. I think he watched the wrong one, but it's still cool. It was, yeah. So the one that he watched recently, Virus. That was still a good one. Yeah, it was fun. I recommended you watch Deep Star 6. He did. He said, no, I already seen that one. Go look it up. Yeah, it wasn't a recommend. He already seen it. Yeah, it's in the library. Look it up. Anyway, so it was pretty bad. And now I don't necessarily recommend Nerdrotic.com. I don't really recommend the Midnight Edge or Doomcock. They're a little too obviously I just don't like anything. I think Red Letter Media does that gag better because they just don't like anything, but at least they're funny about it. You know, the Adam Savage thing is funny. Yeah, so watch that. So Joe Scott is funny. Also because he looks like a young version of Master Scott Sultan from Swan years ago. It's not him, but it's funny. He looks a lot like him. Like a young version of him. Like a son he didn't know he had. Anyway, and then there's, yeah. Oh yeah, SciShow. We like SciShow. SciShow's cool. SciShow. And SciShow Psych. They did one of our suggestions. I tried to figure out what was it to try to figure out what was bipolar disorder or something. It's just, okay, try to figure out what that is. They haven't done anything recently. And they did a thing on cats that was probably a Kal Kat suggestion. Did a thing on cat behavior. Of course they did. But yes, cat behavior. Yes. So yeah, there's a lot out there. There's a YouTube thing. You can avoid the weirdos easily. Oh yeah, and what's that other guy? Egotastic Fun Time JP, another Pine Hill person. Not Junk Squad, Pine Hill person. He from back in the day. And he does reviews of the Orville and Star Wars and Star Trek and stuff. And he was, yeah. Shout out to that guy. And also Thew's Transformers Reviews, in which he was trying to imitate at the end the film critic guy from CinemaSins, doing a fairly good imitation of him actually. And then we have Valen Porteous, we have Stone Gremlin Productions, and Lindsay Ellis. And we don't have them, but these are channels that shout out that are cool. Let's see. Tamara's Never Seen. There's just the category of them. Some of the Doug Walker stuff where he was doing the creepy cartoons was cool. That was one we suggested in there. We suggested that one about the Courage the Cowardly Dog messed up episode about the dark other reality with the cat lady. And I said, go find that one. That one is weird. You like it? He found that one and he was like, oh my god, it is weird. I gotta do that one. That one is messed up. It's the most messed up episode of that's a really dark Cartoon Network episode. I was like, oh my. So the creepy cat lady with the Machiavellian face. It's like genuinely creepy, screwed up cartoon. That one was worse somehow. It was very reminiscent of that Mark Twain cartoon claymation from like 20 years ago that got leaked onto YouTube, in which it's claymation and there with the Machiavellian the face thing, kind of the same thing, kind of very similar, similar but not the same. And there was like this weird sort of creature thing, and there was like an evil angel, and it was Satan. It was like dark, and screwed up. This cartoon is gonna scare the crap out of little kids. Oh yes, but yeah. So I have gone on the full hour. I think we could probably end this here. I decided to go on the full hour. You can shout outs to YouTube channels for like 25 minutes. Sure. Things I liked and disliked. Things I liked about the year. There you go. YouTube channels, YouTube surfing, doing Transformer things, and yeah. Welcome to 2021, and that's pretty much it. Yeah. So no sketch, just shooting the shit, as Kevin Smith would say. Earlier, when was the reboot? The reboot, I think, was last year, but yeah, the reboot, that was cool. Oh yeah, there was a crossover, with that. There have been 2 or 3 crossovers with other local YouTube celebrities when the movie theaters were open, including the Jay and Silent Bob reboot. I keep pointing up to that poster you can't see off screen. Up here, there. Oh yes. So yes. And yeah, they weren't there, but some of their people were there. So the other critic guy was there. and then he appeared in that one, and then later on he appeared at Cats and Transformers Bumblebee. So it's kind of funny going all 3 of those. Why do we keep running into you guys? And Star Wars, yeah, one of the Star Wars ones too. I think it was the first one with Han Solo and the Star Wars 2015 one we ran into, but not the other two. We didn't really run into them then. Yeah, we missed them then, but we got them the other times. The Cats movie, oh my god. The Cats movie, that was last year, but yeah, that movie was, it's one of those so bad it's good movies. And just recently there was a a member from the Cats play. She played the girl, Victoria. And she's all, it wasn't the one from the movie, but it was one from the play. And she's all like, okay, yeah, this is what was wrong with this. And this is what was right with it, you know. And it's like, okay, this is what they got wrong. It's like, the main thing that they said that they got wrong was that there was not a, it's done as a form of theater, and that it's like improv. No, but at least she said it was some kind of theater where it's a series of vignettes. It's not meant to be linear, and if you make it linear, it doesn't make sense, because it's just like cats are generally like that, and the commenters were like that too in the comments. They were like, yeah, the idea isn't that McCavity and Mr. Mistopheles are magic cats. Cats just appear and disappear randomly anyway, so he's not magic, he just thinks he is. And Deuteronomy isn't magic, she just thinks it. She isn't famous, she just thinks she is, because she has 9 lives or whatever. Yeah, it's like they think they're doing stuff. So by the movie showing it, like visually, ooh, we have to show you and tell you that they're doing these things. It's like, no, you don't. It's much more interesting to use your imagination. Have them just say, like, you don't need to see Rebel Wilson like eating mice and cockroaches and stuff as a cat and licking herself and whatever. Yeah, you don't need to see that. That doesn't need to be in there. Just that she sings about the mice. That's all that is. Just singing about mice. Rum Tum Tummy is not a. The two Rumble Tumble and Rumble Tommy are not probably not saying that right. The two Tomcats, the siblings, they're not awesome. They just thrash houses when they go in there and knock things over. It's like they just think they are. So, like, we're so good at being burglars. It's like, no, you just make trouble. Good at that. Anyway, so this New Year's special is weird. So that's it. Cats. Yeah. Magical Mr. Mistopheles. Happy New Year. 2021. Hopefully it won't suck as bad as 2020 did.